All right, the great willow experiment. What we got here, we got some willow brush. It was actually full-size willow brush last year, and we actually cut it twice. And when we cut it, the first time I burned the slashings, and the second time I hauled them away. And now I'm thinking that might have been a mistake. I'm thinking I'm gonna cut this willow brush down, and I'm gonna lay all the brush down on the ground and see how that works as a soil builder. I'm not sure how long it takes this stuff to break down, but I'm gonna find out. It's gonna be kind of an experiment I'm gonna do to see how that works out for helping building soil here. This ain't the first experiment I've done in this specific patch. Like I said, I cut this down last year, and we have a lot of willow on the back side of this property, and my thought was I was going to do rotational cuttings for the wildlife. So I cut this patch down, and I got this little mound here which was covered in turnips last year, and I planted that specifically for the deer. And that was my way to kind of bring them over here, so I knew for sure I had deer in this area coming to this specific spot to see if they would eat this willow brush over the winter. And they come over and they absolutely destroyed the turnips on this little mound I got here, and I didn't find any evidence of them eating the tips or anything off of this willow brush. So it's definitely not on their preferred menu. Maybe if they were starving or something, but it wasn't on their preferred menu. And this mound, if you're wondering what the heck this ugly thing is, we piled a bunch of brush here, and then we covered it with clay from this ditch we were digging when we first started the ditch last year. And then basically the rain beat it down, and then we seeded turnips into it. Our thought was maybe the clay, as the wood rots, because we didn't really put it that deep. We didn't make a full-blown hugelkultur, but we were testing it to see if this would work, if the wood would rot down, or if it'd have any beneficial aspects. You know, we're gonna try building a regular hugelkultur down in the back, but we wanted to see if we could get by with half the work, you know, not doing all the layering and stuff like that. And it worked well with the turnips. So I would consider this experiment a success. It's just a matter of how long it takes the wood in it to rot. And I know it might be hard to believe, but we actually had it fairly leveled last year when we did it. You know, it wasn't all humpy like this. It just sunk in with the wood and whatnot. And this year my wife has some pumpkin plants, and they're all small. Some cucumber plants, watermelon plants, you know, just some stuff spread out throughout here. And basically we're gonna let these grow. We're not really putting much effort into this because we're not really gonna take anything from it. It's more just for feeding the critters. And we're gonna let that grow over the summer, see how it does. And then going into late summer, we'll seed turnips on it again, just because the deer liked it so much. We're just gonna do it again. But anyhow, what I'm gonna do is I'll get cutting on this willow here, and I'll lay the slashings down, and then I'll take a video and show you what that looks like. And basically, like I said, it's an experiment. I'm not sure how long it's going to take that stuff to break down, but I'll document it. That way, if someone else has a bunch of willow on their property and you're wondering if you can cut it down and build soil with it, or what it looks like, or how it works out, well, you can learn from my success or failure with this. And I might even cut some willow in another location, some of the bigger stuff, haul it over here and just spread it out on the ground here, and just make this one thick pad of cut down willows. All right, well, I'll get to cutting. That's enough talking. All right, this is as far as I got with that willow project. I didn't get very far. We decided to round the edges on the ditch instead, but anyhow, I started stacking the willows we cut down across this, and we're gonna leave them lay, and I hope to fill this whole area with willows like this, and we're gonna see how long it takes them to deteriorate, break down, and see if it improves the soil at all. And as more willows pop up, which I'm sure they will, through these old willows, I'll chop them with the brush cutter, and we'll see how it works out. All right, that's all I've got to say about that, I reckon.